Hey, what's going on, everybody? Steve here with Roi and Profit over at RoiandProfit.com, coming back to you with another video. And I'm really excited about this video because I'm going to be sharing with you the top 11 questions that I ask myself and my team ask themselves before we purchase a product to resell on Amazon. If you're currently selling on Amazon and maybe you're having trouble getting your items to sell quickly, or your ROIs or your profits aren't where you want them to be, this video is going to help you out tremendously. You see, I've been reselling on Amazon for over 10 years now, and I've made practically every mistake in the book. So everything I'm going to share with you today is based on real life experience. In the last year alone, I've sold over $732,000 worth of products. That's over 7,600 products that I've sold on Amazon. So be sure to watch this video in full. And also, don't forget to smash that like button and show some love. Now, before we dive into this video, I do want to take a moment to give a big shout out to the sponsor of today's video, SellerAmp. SellerAmp is the tool that I use to analyze all of my online arbitrage flips. So if you didn't know, I buy most of my items on eBay to resell on Amazon. And you better believe that I am analyzing every single one of those products with SellerAmp. And matter of fact, in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you step-by-step how I'm analyzing the products, and SellerAmp plays a big role in that. So without further ado, be sure to smash that like button and let's get into today's video. So the first question that I always ask myself before I buy an item to resell is, am I eligible to sell the product? Am I gated or am I restricted? So let me share with you exactly how I do that. All right, so let's dive into my computer, and I'm going to share with you a product that I'm analyzing right now. This is a WWE WrestleMania DVD, and before my team and I purchases it, we want to know if we are able to resell this. So what I'm going to do is pull up SellerAmp on the left-hand side, and this is a Chrome extension that you can add on to your browser. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll all the way down to the bottom under eligibility. And as you can see, it says you can sell this product. Woo! So that means I could sell it. If it was restricted, it would tell me I'm restricted or give me the option to get ungated. So that's number one. Make sure that you're eligible to sell the product. The second question that I always ask myself, and so does my team before we purchase an item, is this item hazmat or dangerous goods? If the item is dangerous goods, you typically have to ship it out and package it differently. Same with hazmat. I typically am not flipping these types of items just because I have thousands of different items that I can sell that aren't hazmat or dangerous goods. But let me share with you inside of my computer how you can check with SellerAmp. So again, what you're going to do is pull up SellerAmp and scroll all the way down to the bottom area right underneath eligibility. And you're going to be able to see that it says hazmat and dangerous goods. So it's going to say yes if it is hazmat or dangerous goods, or no. And you can see that this item is a no. So that means we are good to go. The third question that we always ask ourselves before we purchase an item, and this is probably the question that's at the forefront of all of our minds, is what's the ROI and what's the profit? So after you determine what your buy cost is, you can actually go into SellerAmp, put in your buy cost, and you can see after all the fees and everything, what's your ROI and what's your profit. Let me show you how it's done. All right, so for this item, I can purchase this on eBay for $13. And I can see that the buy box is $31.99. I could also do some more research on Keepa right here, or I can use Keepa as well within SellerAmp. But let's just say that I'm going to be able to sell this for $35 because I've sold it for $35 plus many times before. I can actually see after my cost that I'll make $6.70 profit and a 51% ROI, which is really powerful. So that's the cool thing about using SellerAmp. Essentially, all you have to do is plug in your buy cost and it'll show you what's your ROI and what's your profit. Now, of course, you're going to want to calculate this conservatively. You don't want to, put too high of a price that you're not realistically going to get. But this is a really cool feature of the software. And if you go into the settings, you can actually even add in additional expenses for a prep fee, or you can add in higher inbound shipping costs as well if you want to, again, have a more conservative ROI and profit estimate. But I use this every single day. So does my team. And it'll also save all of these searches in history. So if you have a team, you can go back and see all the different deals that they've been analyzing, which is really cool. Question number 4, what is the max buy cost that I could pay for this item? So maybe you're not sourcing on eBay. Maybe you're sourcing on Barnes & Noble or Target or Walmart online. You're doing online arbitrage and you're trying to figure out what's the most I could pay for this item. Maybe you know that you could sell it for $35, but you're wondering like, what's my break-even cost? What's the max cost that I could pay? Well, SellerAmp will actually help you to see that very quickly at a bird's eye glimpse. So let me show you how that's done. So if you take a look here underneath cost, sale price, profit percentage, ROI, right next to it says break even. So if I was to sell this item at $27.12, you'll see that my profit is break even. So that's the least amount I could sell the item for to break even and not lose any money. Now, if I wanted to know what was my max buy cost, so again, let's put this back to $35. You could see right next to estimated sales, my max buy cost is $11.70. Now, if you're wondering how is it calculating your max buy cost, well, in your settings of SellerAmp, you can tell SellerAmp, what do I want to make for a minimum ROI and a minimum profit? So you can put in 40%, 50%, 100%. And essentially, if it meets your criteria, everything will be green. But if it doesn't meet your criteria, then it'll be red. So for example, you see how the profit percentage, ROI, break even, it all went red. But again, if I changed my buy cost, now you see everything turn green. So in your settings, you could set the minimum criteria, but it's really, really useful to know what's the most I could pay for this item and what's my break even cost if the price tanks. Question number 5, how many times per month is this item selling? Now, we're all familiar with sales rank, but I'll tell you right now, a metric that I'm more concerned with is actual monthly sales or monthly sales drops, because sales rank could mean a lot of different things based on the category. I want to know how often is that item actually selling, because, I want a good ROI. Typically, I want at least a 40% ROI. Typically want to make at least $7 or $8 profit. But what does ROI and profit really mean if the item isn't selling? You're going to run into issues, and I have in the past as well, where I've had strong ROIs and strong profit potential. But guess what? The item took forever to sell. 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 8 months, 12 months. Comment down below slow sales if you've dealt with that before. You bought an item and it just didn't sell in a timely manner. Well, SellerAmp is really awesome because you can actually see right here your estimated sales and the BSR, which stands for bestseller rank. So yeah, you could go into Keepa and you could count all the green drops, or you could literally just look on SellerAmp right here and see, okay, 28,000 BSR in the DVD category. Oh, 6 sales per month. This is so crucial. This is so important. I can't say it enough. You want to buy items that flip quickly, because if you don't, you're going to run into some cash flow issues. Question number 6, before I buy an item to resell, I ask myself, how many sellers are on the listing? And you might be wondering, why is this important? Well, the truth is, the more sellers that are on the listing, typically the longer it's going to take for the item to sell. There's more competitors rotating in the buy box, and there's a higher likelihood that the item could tank in price. So one thing that you could do on SellerAmp is you can actually scroll down and you can take a look and see all the people that are currently on the listing, what they're pricing the item for. And you can scroll all the way down right here and you can see the offer count, and you can see right here, August 24, September 24, October 24, you can see how the offer count is going up and how it's going down. I'm typically looking for a nice stable offer count, or maybe it dips a little bit, or maybe it goes up a little bit, or maybe one thing I like to see is if it dips a lot, because I know the price is probably going to go up. If there's a demand for that item, you're going to be able to get a really good price. So I always ask myself, how many sellers are on the listing? Where is the market at right now in terms of the number of sellers? Question number 7 that I ask myself is, have I sold this item before in the past? And do I have any in inventory? Because if I already have this exact ASIN or product in my inventory, maybe I don't want to buy it. Or maybe I'm trying to figure out, what can I realistically sell this item for? So if there was a quick and easy way to be able to see like that, if I've sold it before and how much I paid, and if I have that item in inventory, like how many do I have in inventory? Well, let me tell you right now, it's very easy with SellerAmp. So here under Seller Central, there's a button that says orders, and then there's a button that says inventory. So if I click orders, all I have to do is make sure that I'm signed into my Amazon account. But if I click orders, it'll literally do a reverse search of this ASIN in my Amazon seller account under orders, and I'll be able to see if I've sold it before, and I can take an easy look at like how much I've sold it for. Also, the inventory button will do a reverse search of this ASIN in my inventory, so I could click it and I can easily see, do I already have items in stock or items that are on the way to Amazon? So again, this is so important because if I already have items in my inventory, and maybe like for my business model, guys, I typically only keep 1 or 2 in stock because I go wide versus deep. I have a wide array of ASINs that I go after, and I'm constantly replenishing them using the Replen Catcher software. And after I sell one and I'm sold out, I go find another one on eBay. So this really helps me with my cash flow. And also the orders button is important because reading a Keepa chart is great, and you can get a good idea of like the true intrinsic value and, you know, what it's been priced at before and realistically, but there's no better data. I don't know why I keep snapping my fingers. I'm excited, but there's no better data than knowing what you've sold it before in the past, especially items like DVDs that aren't super seasonal, maybe outside of like Christmas DVDs. So that inventory and orders button is huge. If you don't have it on your account, just go into the little gear button settings and you can add it in and you can move everything around. So everything on SellerAmp, you can literally move it around to your liking. So if there's certain things that, you know, like for me, I'm doing eBay to Amazon, so I can see it right here. I want to see that all the time. But for you, you might not do eBay to Amazon, so you might not care. So you can move everything around to make sure your navigation has all the necessary buttons and viewpoints that benefit you most. Question number 8. That I always ask myself, and I'm really hard on my team about this. I mean, I'm even hard on myself about this, is checking the Keepa chart. I always ask myself, what is the true intrinsic value? And I know I've talked about this, you know, a couple minutes ago, but what's the true intrinsic value? What's Keepa telling me? Not only the new offer count, but the price history, the buy box history. And one of the great things about using SellerAmp is you can scroll down and there's a Keepa chart right here. So you can see everything and it's dynamic. So you can actually see 7 days, 30 days, 90 days, 180 days, 365 days. And that's literally built into SellerAmp. Of course, you can also use it on the actual sales page if you want a bigger image, but you could also click into it as well if you want it to open up on SellerAmp's side as well. But I really like how dynamic it is with 7, 30, 90, 180 days, 365 days right here. And it also shows different marketplaces, although I'm only looking at the US marketplace. But you could see right here in this example, it's at 40, then it jumps to 45, and then 50, then it goes down to 40. And this is over the last 365 days. And then you could also scroll down if you wanted to, take a look at the offer count right here, which is also dynamic. So you can see, oh, the offer count was going down. So that's probably why the price spiked. So you can kind of play a little game in your head and you can see if the offer count is going down, there's a history of the price going up, vice versa. Huge. This is beneficial. I ask myself this question every single time. What's the realistic selling price that I could flip this item for? I don't want to buy items at overinflated FBA prices. I want to be realistic. So for this example right here, realistically around $40. I would say my estimate of 35 is low. There's a good history of this item new selling for $40 or more. Question number 9. Is the buy box rotating? So if you didn't know this, over 80% of sales on Amazon go to the winner of the buy box. So you want to win the buy box and you want to ask yourself the question, is the buy box rotating? If Amazon's on the listing, are they playing nice? Or are they being mean Amazon, hogging it all up? You can also, ask yourself, like, is it rotating equally or is 1 or 2 people dominating it outside of Amazon? Maybe there's a wholesaler on it, or maybe there's a brand, which I wouldn't sell on a listing if the brand's on the listing, if I don't have like legitimate invoices. So I wouldn't do that with eBay to Amazon. But I want to share with you how you can see on SellerAmp if the buy box is rotating equally. So underneath the Keepa chart right here, I put the buy box analysis and I can look over a 30, 90, 180 day period. Matter of fact, I'll do all right now just for fun. And I could see all the different sellers that are on the listing. Over the last 90 days, the buy box is actually suppressed. And if you're wondering what that means, typically it's on listings that are maybe slow sellers or the prices are too high and Amazon doesn't want to give anybody the buy box. They're essentially trying to discourage the price to get you to push the price down, because sales will slow down when there is no buy box, because customers will have to manually go in and buy the item. But you can see right here, it is rotating. Let's look at 180 days. Like, I'm just looking to make sure there's not one person like dominating it. And you can actually see right here, if you scroll down, the different sellers, and you can see it rotating at 29%, 6, 3, 3. I mean, it is rotating. You can see the last time they won the buy box. You could also see the price. So this is really important right here. You could also do this within actual, like inside of actual Keepa, by going into data and then buy box statistics. This is new. This is used, but I like how this gives like a really nice little pie chart. So you can see the sellers and how often they're winning the buy box, which is really important. If you invest in products, especially if you're buying a lot of quantity and you're not checking to see if the buy box is at least rotating. And again, you want to see like multiple slices of the pie. You don't want to just see like one huge slice, which there is a huge slice, which is suppressed, but that's not a winner of the buy box. That just means there has been no buy box. But this is so beneficial, especially if you're going after like higher ticket items or multiple quantities. Always, always, always check the buy box statistics, and SellerAmp really makes that easy to see. Now, number 10, I kind of already mentioned it in number 9, but I want to share this one more time. You can actually see what the buy box price has been. Okay. So when you look underneath the buy box analysis, this is really important. And again, you could do this on Keepa as well. You can see what they've been winning it at. So like right here, Rasputin Music, 43.89, Hip Chimps, 47.95. And you could break this down like the last 30 days to see realistically, well, it's actually been all suppressed in the last 30 days, but 90 days, you can see 40.38. And if you go over to actual Keepa right here, you could open this up over the last, we'll do 180 days, and you can see if they're FBA or merchant. So if there's a checkbox here on Keepa, that means it's an FBA seller. I'm an FBA seller, which means I can see there's a history of this at least winning the buy box at 47 and 37. And then what I could do is I can go up here to see who's on the listing. So we got JK, multi-products, FBA, feed your TV. I don't see these people on the listing anymore. So they probably sold out. There's actually a good chance that Hip Chimp sold this for 47 within the last 6 months, and that this seller, Retouch Treasures, probably sold it for 38. So again, I still like that. I don't know if you want to call it a prediction, but I like that conservative valuation of, selling this for 35 bucks. Keepa shows it. The buy box statistics shows it. And again, these are just additional, I don't know, like check boxes that I'm checking off when my team and I are analyzing. We're looking at Keepa. We're looking at where the market is right now. And again, yes, there is a seller at $31.99, but this is selling 6 times a month. I would let them sell out, and then the next person in line is $40. I would not chase this down to $31.99. I would let them sell out. So hopefully that helps. And the last question that I ask myself, and I've already alluded to this earlier in different scenarios, but I ask myself, is this listing stable? Is the price stable? Are the number of sellers stable? Am I actually estimating that I can sell this item or whatever item you're looking at a price that is stable? Because more times than not, people will see one FBA seller and they'll just say, hey, I could sell it at $78. But what they don't realize is after looking at the Keepa chart, oh, wow, that was really overly inflated. Or, they take a look and there's no other sellers. There's just one seller. I like this listing because it is stable. The number of sellers is pretty stable, and it's actually going down, which is a good thing. The price is pretty stable at 40. Yeah, there's one bozo selling it at $31.99, but it's pretty stable at about 40 bucks. I'm going to ignore this FBM seller because I'm not FBM. But overall, this is pretty stable. This is a good listing. So you want to ask yourself, is this stable? And again, you could build that confidence by looking at the current market, looking at Keepa, looking at the buy box rotation, looking at the number of sellers over 30, 90, 180 days, 365 days. And it just all builds confidence into making a purchasing decision. Now, you might be thinking, Steve, it's going to take me 2 hours to analyze every single item. It's like riding a bike. The first time you ride a bike, you fall down. You're thinking about pedaling and where you're holding the handlebars and am I sitting on the seat correctly and keeping my balance. It's the same way when you're analyzing products, but a 15-minute analyzation will turn into a 12-minute, a 10-minute, 5-minute. And then, I could do this in 30 seconds or less now. And so can my team because we've analyzed so many items. It doesn't make me special. Anybody can do this. It's just repetition. The more you do it, the more you use Seller Amp, the more you analyze deals, and the more mistakes you make. And matter of fact, I made a mistake as well. I didn't even look on this listing. This is $31.99 used. So usually Seller Amp only shows new offers, but every now and then, if the buy box comes in at used, it'll put it on there because it's the buy box winner. So new right now is actually at $40. So that's a mistake I made right there too. We all make mistakes, but the more you practice, the more you play with this software, you learn, you analyze deals, you make mistakes, and also you get to see your results come to life. Like you get to make all these decisions. And then guess what? After they get checked in, if you're doing FBA, you get to see, did it sell? Did it take too long? I've had products even after 10 years I've purchased and it sits for a year and it's like, wow, I missed looking at the buy box rotation. Or I buy an item and it gets shipped back to me and I'm, what happened? I was restricted. I didn't even look, so I like to have like a little checklist of different things to look out for and whatnot. So, there's so many different learning experiences, but these are the 11 questions that I ask myself. Want to give a big shout out to you guys for watching this video. If you did watch till the end, smash that like button, show some love. If you do want to use or check out the tool Seller Amp, I'll put a link down below to a special free trial. So you can definitely check that out. But yeah, smash that like button, show some love. Appreciate you guys from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.